Okay, so we are going to be sharing about onboarding today. And it's also kind of like it's retention too, because it's customer care, onboarding, kind of all rolled into one. It all comes full circle. If you're not onboarding people well, and then you're not checking in with them, that's not, you're not going to have retention because if you don't have good customer care, and then it doesn't duplicate well either. So that's why we wanted to do this today. We are recording this, so if you have a team member that's not here, you can send it their way. Okay, let me share my screen. And Amy, I don't know if you wanted to say anything to kick it off.
No, I was going to just kick it off with what exactly you just said. This is where retention starts, is with onboarding.
Yep.
So, if you want to grow your business, you have to have an onboarding system. And this is it. We've created one that's simple and duplicatable. So, here we go.
Okay, guys, I'm trying to be fancy. You know, I don't normally do presentations, so if it looks, if there's anything wrong, sorry.
It's my favorite colors. Woo!
I'm trying. Okay, here we go. So Amy and I have had a conversation just to kind of get everything on paper. Like, what is our onboarding process? Because we obviously have one, but we just want to make sure all of you guys are kind of on the same page as us too. So we've just kind of put this out on steps, and I think there's basically 5 steps when it comes down to it. A couple of them have like several parts to it. So just bear with us on understanding how the process works. But I don't want you to be overwhelmed thinking like, oh, there's so many steps. I can't do all these things. It's actually super simple. Okay. And you can even make yourself a checklist if you want. Um, but the easiest thing to do, I have found, is doing these things as soon as you can, first of all. Because when I push off and I say, like, okay, I've got a new person. Oh, I'll send them the email later. I'll send them a message later on how to do their products. I'll add them to your Plexus community tomorrow. Sometimes that gets pushed off way too long and then we forget and then they never get added. And these people are the most excited they're going to be basically in that first day that they ordered, like that same day that they ordered and into the next day. Like their first 24 hours are pretty crucial. So if at all possible, try to do as many of these things, on that day that they join. Now, understandable. You sign somebody up and you're out to dinner. Okay, you're not going to like go log into your back office and send the stuff right away. Totally get that. But anyways, case by case basis, of course. So step one is this is like as soon as they've ordered, you see their order came through, make sure to thank them for the order. Be excited, share gratitude. Like, I'm so excited for you to get started on these products. Thank you so much for your order. I just saw it come through. Soon as you get your package, let me know so I can help you get started and shoot me a message with a selfie of you and your first pink drink. If they don't have a pink drink, you could just say a picture of you and your products when you get them. Because then later you can, down the road when we have the conversation about them posting, hey, you already have a picture with you and your slim. Why don't you post this? So then you have it and it's just fun. They can send you a picture of them with their drink. You can send one back like cheers, it's just kind of fun. And then the other thing you want to do in the same message, if possible, send a getting started guide right away. Or if you don't want to do a getting started guide, some people just like to text out and say, here's what I want you to do when you get your products. Take your slim day one, and then do this. Like you can just type that out. You don't have to send a 5-page email on how to take the products. Please don't actually. Back in the day, like years ago, we used to send emails that were way too long and it had info on how to take all of the products. People were not starting because they said, oh, I didn't have time to read the email yet. So anyways, so just keep it super simple. We have getting started guides. There's a flipbook link for that. You could pull up that flipbook, find the combo that, flip through and find the combo that they ordered. Take a picture of it, send it to them. Or you can use individual graphics. Like sometimes I'll just take, the graphic that I have just for ProBio and just for BioCleanse and just for MetaBurn and just send those 3 graphics to people. So it's kind of however you want to do it, but make sure you send it right away so that days later when they get their products, what if they text you and they're like, okay, I got my package, I'm ready to go. and then you're busy. What if you're out, and you've taken a day off and you're with your family all day? You don't have time to like go search and find these graphics, do it ahead of time. So hope that makes sense. Just do it as soon as you can.
If I can just add something on sending emails. I mean, I think sending
And we're
emails
going to
is
talk about email, but go ahead.
okay. I was just going to say, a lot of people, maybe like 80% of people don't read their email.
Mhm.
So that's good to send information email, but you got to follow up with a text or a Facebook message and say, did you get my email? Because most people
Yes.
just do not read email.
Yeah, that's a very good point. And they will read it if you point it out to them, and say, I
Hmm.
sent you this an email. Did you get it or whatever? Um, and I'm going to we'll talk about that later when I talk about the email. Okay, step two. Um, add the message for step two. It can be done really
So wait a
immediately.
second here. I'm still just seeing on the screen, it says new VIP onboarding.
Well, now I am. Can you see this?
Oh, yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Yeah, this is great. This is great. Everybody write this down. We missed this. Yeah. Okay. Or take a
Okay.
screenshot.
Okay. Can you see it
Oh,
again?
yeah, yeah, we
Yes.
can see it. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
See it.
Okay. Should I
Now
push
see
the
if you
share button or just deal with this?
just leave it like this and just
Leave it.
advance it.
Okay.
Leave it like this, but advance it to the next slide. Perfect. This is
There we go.
perfect.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay, so I guess we're ready for number two.
Okay. So in the same message on, the same day you sent the other stuff, you could do this. You could do it the next day. You'll want to add them to your Plexus community. So you could just go to your Plexus community, click the invite button, add their name, to get them in the group. But the key thing you need to do here is to send them a copy of the group link, not just adding them and hoping they get added to the group. People often miss notifications on Facebook, or they get so many that it just gets lost in the sauce and they won't even know they're invited to a group. So it's very important to actually send a message with the copy of the link and say, hey, I just added you to your Plexus community. It's, I like to say like what it's about. I'll say it's a great place to just learn as you go. We even have a giveaway you can enter already in there. There's product info, stories. This is where you hear all the announcements and things like that. If you could just click this link to accept my invite to join the group. So then once they do that, they're in, go and find some posts to tag them in. So instead of making like a welcome post, which is fine and it's really nice, but the thing is like when we used to do a lot of the welcome posts, they would just kind of clog up the feed and all the other really important stuff would really get lost in the sauce. So we're asking you to kind of welcome them in a different way and if you still want to make a welcome graphic in their picture and you want to put that in the comments, go ahead. But like, I would say just go find, first of all, a post that has something to do with one of the products they ordered or the combo they ordered. Type in the search bar triplex, see what comes up, and then go and tag them in the comments of a triplex post and say, hey, Sally, this is the combo that you're going to be taking. Can't wait for you to get it. Welcome to the group, And then another post you could tag them in, either, find another one if you want product related, or you could just go up to the featured posts. There's a featured tab, click that, and you'll see different things that we've pinned up there. One of them is a welcome video from Amy. One is just a general welcome post that has the link tree in there. And then usually the 100 PV giveaway is tagged there too. So, I like to put my new people on the 100 PV giveaway post if that post is already up, because that's kind of an exciting thing. Like they're already able to enter a giveaway. Like that's kind of fun for them. So that's what I suggest. And you don't have to go crazy. Like don't tag them in a million posts, just like 2 is good. And that's kind of the way we're going to welcome them in. And then the other thing I want to mention is please, you really don't need to add them to all the groups. It's actually very overwhelming. And I've found that when people are getting added to all of the Facebook groups, they tend to not accept any of them, or they'll accept maybe one. And they end up maybe only accepting Team Taylor, and then they don't get into your Plexus community. And we don't know why they're not there. It's because they were added to 5 groups at once. And so they're like freaked out. Oh my gosh, why am I getting added to all these groups? So you don't want that to happen. Start with your Plexus community. It's very important. Of course, as they, grow, if they start sharing, the business and things like that, yeah, you might want to start adding them to your the wellness connection and your Plexus or Team Taylor and things like that. So just keep it simple in the beginning and get them just in one place. Okay, step 3 is sending a welcome email. So Amy, do you want to talk about this while I go and find the email to pull up on the screen?
The painters are here. I'm really sorry.
Well, we can hear you, so as long as you're allowed to talk. I mean,
Okay. Oh my gosh, let me put these in. Let me put these in. Okay. Can you guys hear me?
yep.
Okay, this will be at least not the barking will be as loud. So the welcome email, you want to do that the day they order. I started sending welcome emails again in last January. I hadn't sent them in years. The people that I sent them to started sharing. Like, I did other things. I did other onboarding things, but it's amazing. Like when you onboard well,
Yeah.
people share, and they're more likely to share. So you send that welcome email. The people that I put it off and say, I'll do that tomorrow, I'll send the email tomorrow, they stop ordering. So send the email the day they order.
And it's not necessarily about the day. It's the fact that like if we say, like if I say to myself, oh, I'll send that in like a couple days, I forget and then it gets pushed off. The problem is it gets pushed off too long and then they don't get the email or whatever. So same thing with like the initial messages. So here's an example email. Now, I started sending them in January too, because that's when I started getting leads customers, which is, when you're a senior Ruby, sometimes you'll get people that randomly sign up on the Plexus website. Plexus will give you some, random customers. So I started it as a way to introduce myself to people. I have no idea who they are because we didn't connect on Facebook or anything. But then I realized, you know what, I should bring back emails. So a few months down the road, I decided to bring them back for my new VIPs as well, just to have a place where I can refer to and say, hey, I sent this to you in the email, or there's just one email that has, several different pieces of information that they can go back and refer to. Okay, so this is by no means perfect. It actually could be too long, I can clean this up a little bit, but here's what it is. I'm basically greeting them with a welcome, excited for them, wanted to send you some tips and resources. So I put some tips in here, which being with what we're going to talk about later in the training, we may not really need to put these in. Oh, I see there's a typo here in this one. We might not need to put these in the email because we're going to give people tips in a message later. So we'll talk about that. So this is maybe one thing I might be able to cut out, but I'm basically just giving them a couple tips on their journey and then also encouraging them to download the Plexus Go app, get plugged into our Facebook group. And I also tell them about the Social Wellness Hangout on Tuesdays. And then resources, I have the Linktree posted here. And for those of you that are watching this that don't know what Linktree is, we have this set up for your Plexus community. It's very handy links for all kinds of things. It's got our Facebook group, where to log in for your Plexus account, product getting started guides, things about perks and editing your subscription, and how to mix your pink drink, and a video on triplex getting started tips. So lots of just handy tips here all in one place so that you don't have to always be sending a bunch of links to people or finding links. You can always just refer them to the link tree. Okay, so that's in here. And then I linked the Facebook group directly here so that hopefully they would click it and request to join. I actually did have a stranger request to join this group from an email, a stranger being one of the leads people that I got that I have never met before. And she requested to join the group and I didn't recognize the name at first. And I was like, oh, I know that name, but like, it didn't register. And then I realized who it was. Okay. So that was exciting that I saw that she did that from the email. And so that's about it. Then I sign off. Now the key with the email. Don't, at least in my opinion, to not personalize it and have to edit it every time. Because if you have to edit an email every single time to add information in there to just that person and like with their maybe their product regimen and stuff like that, you're not going to send the email. It delays everything because it's going to delay you from actually sending it because then you're like, oh, now I got to go and find their referral link and paste it in here and I have to go find their products that they ordered and then send that in here. It's too many steps. So this, I could be out on the go. I just signed up a new VIP and I have this template in my Gmail. All I have to do is copy and paste it and send it to their email. So super easy. And also I think on here, maybe I don't have it on this one that I sent. An updated version that I sent has also, it tells people on how to find the referral link. So it basically just says, this is where you can find your referral link. Sorry, it's not on this one. But we can send this template out to you and you guys can do whatever you want with it. Did you want to share anything else about the email, Amy?
No, I was actually going to ask about putting on there how to find your referral link because
Yeah.
I like that because I have been sending everybody the referral link and that's one reason I put off sending the email and then sometimes don't send it. So yeah, so send us that copy. That'll be great. Then we'll all have that
Sorry, that
copy.
wasn't on here.
Yeah, that's okay. Yeah, so that's step 3, send the welcome email. But again, everything we've said so far is really ideally
Excuse me.
first day. It's first day they join, if hopefully if possible, first all these steps. So then we have step 4.
Okay, so this is the thing that Amy, you kind of shared with me from Amy, the tips for success. If you want to talk about that.
Yeah, I can go over this. If the dogs start to bark, can you guys hear the painters?
Not right now.
Okay. It's the outside of our house, which is weird. So, okay. 4 tips for success. So, after someone joins, you should say to them in Messenger, in a voice message or typing it, like, hey, so I have 4 tips for success. Do you want me to send them? Do you want me to send them to you now? And they'll say, oh, yeah, sure. And then you say, okay, so the first tip is consistency. These products will only work if you take them consistently. Do you think there's anything that could get in your way from taking your Plexus consistently? And see what they respond. Maybe they'll say something like, I have really strange work hours, so I'm worried about whatever that affecting me taking the products. And then you talk them through that and you figure out a routine that will work for them. Then you say, okay, so step 2 is move your body. Moving your body daily will help your body function better overall, and sweating helps detox. We have a free app called Plexus Go. And then Pivotal is a 12-week exercise program and healthy recipes on there. As far as moving your body, do you think, how's that going to go? What's your plan for moving your body? Question mark. And see what they write back. Obviously, if this is a friend that you know is a runner or something, you could be like, I know you're a runner. Is that what you're going to keep doing? Hey, then communication. So the third step, do you want to take over?
Yeah, I can do that. Sure. So basically just, tip 3, so these are, you can tell them, like, you can number these whenever you're messaging them. Tip 3 is communication. I can support you best when I know what is going on. I always say this to people, like, if I don't know what's going on, I can't help you, so tell them to share the good, the bad, and the ugly. Tell them, like, you want to hear their wins along the way, but also if you have questions or if you're ever having any issues, so I can help you troubleshoot. And I love to hear from my customers often. So it's also like, you could say that you could expect to hear from me often, you could say something like that, but I kind of like to turn it onto them, kind of put the responsibility onto them to check in with me. I know that might sound weird because obviously I'm still going to check in with them, but I want them to know, like, it's never too often for you to message me. I have people sometimes say, "Oh, I feel like I'm annoying you." And I'm like, "You're totally not annoying me." Like, that's like the best part. I love when I hear from my customers. Okay. So, tip 4 is don't start alone. And you can let them know that when you start alone, oh, there's a typo on there. Sorry, it's too long. When you start alone, you're more likely to give up. You're 93% more likely to stick with something when you have a friend. Who would you like to be your accountability buddy? So even just to let them start, kind of thinking about that, not that they have to tell you right there, but it's just a good opening to helping them refer, right?
And a lot of times when you say step number 4, they'll sign up their husband or their wife, and hey, that's someone,
Yep.
and more likely they're doing it with their spouse. So,
And most of us have added our spouse, and that would be a good thing to mention. Like, hey, my accountability buddy is my husband, and he started with me using my referral link. Okay, so just that we kind of mentioned this earlier, onboarding and customer care are the key to customers having success on the products and the key to customer retention. If you don't have good onboarding or customer care, you won't have customers that stick around. Pretty obvious, right? Okay. So next, you want to make a plan for your customer care check-ins. A great thing to do is, say you have a new VIP, go ahead and look at the steps that you need to do and add the next. I'm going to show you some check-ins we're going to do. You can add these to your calendar, and each once a week, put that person's name as a reminder that's going to ding you and say, week 1 check-in with Molly, week 2 check-in with Molly, and then you'll get that and you'll be like, oh, got to do my check-in real quick. And it's, it just makes it easier to be able to do on the go when you're busy and all that. Now, another thing you can do is select a day of the week that you want to do all of your customer care check-ins. So you can say, okay, Tuesday is my customer care day. So those are the days I'm going to do my check-ins with my new VIPs. So whatever way you want to do it. So how to check in. Step 5. Checking in weekly with your new VIPs. So week 1, you can do a routine check-in, or even just I talked about the routine actually in week 2. Sorry. And week 1 is more of a checking on the taste of their drinks, right? So a taste check-in. And if you don't have someone doing the drinks, it can be a little different, whatever you want to do. So I said, hey, how are you liking the taste of the pink drink? Any questions on how to use any of your products? And then after they share that with you, wait and get their response and see what they say, because then if they're not liking the taste of the pink drink, you'll know how to guide them on what things they could do to maybe like it better, right? We do have a video, by the way, linked that I've made. It's in the link tree on what to do if you don't like your slim. And I talk all about mixing it as a shot, adjusting the flavor with lemon, lime, watering it down, things like that. Okay. And then what you're going to do in that same conversation is transition into, I was thinking about, we talked about you having an accountability buddy. Who do you think can benefit from these products, or doing Plexus with you? Just see if they've maybe thought of anybody since the last time you guys talked. And then week 2, we're going to check on their routine. So are you getting your product routine down or having any trouble remembering anything? So if they are having trouble remembering things, a great thing to do is talk about habit stacking. The thing with putting their products by the toothbrush is always a great plan, or whatever, works for these people. But that's just a great conversation starter to see how it's going, because we don't know, like, what if they are forgetting it daily? And so instead of like waiting until month 1 and checking in, and then we find out, well, I haven't really been taking my slim. And then we find out, well, really, they don't have a routine. You know what I mean? So if we can, the earlier we can help them, the earlier we can know these things, the earlier we can help them get successful and consistent. Okay. And so in the same conversation, then after you find that out from them and work that through that, transition to, when can I host a wellness event for you? And I want you to note something. It's not, are you open to me hosting a wellness event? And it's not, can I host a wellness event? It's when can I host a wellness event? It's assuming we're going to do one. Now, they might say no, they might ignore you, and that's fine. And I like to tell them right there too, like what it's about. So I share about the products that we love, and I do a giveaway for your guests. You invite people to check it out. What do you think? And if they say no, then this is a good time to say, "Oh, no worries, I understand. And if you ever change your mind, we can do one later down the road. No rush on that. But I was wondering if you'd maybe want to make a post, and you could ask them to shout you out, however you want to do that. So if they say no to an event, pivot to a post. Okay. All right. Week 3, we want to check in. Well, not really check in. It's more of a reminder about their subscription coming up. Let them know the date it's going to be running in case you want to edit anything that's in your cart. And did you know how to earn free products with our perks rewards yet? Sometimes most people haven't heard about that yet, or maybe they didn't check that out in the email. Maybe we haven't had a conversation. So it's a really great time to talk to them about perks and why it's important to have a subscription on so that they earn perks. And then week 4, their subscription has probably already ran. Now we're going to be asking them if they've had any health wins. And if they share any, this is a great time to say, you should totally share that on Facebook. And you could also, say, do you want me to help you write a post? It's also a great time to bring up that photo that they sent you maybe in the beginning. So it all comes full circle here. So any questions about this?
It's so awesome. I wanted to share something I do with my calendar. I'm now using my phone calendar. After I sign someone up, I count out 4 days. Like, let's say I signed someone today. It's the 2nd. So I count out 4 days. So 3rd, 4th, 5th, 6th. And I would put check in with Sally. That's check in 1. And then I go down a week from the 6th, that's the 13th. Then I do check in 2 with Sally on my calendar. And then on the 20th, check in 3 with Sally, check in 4 with Sally on the 27th. I actually write her name. I started doing that in January. And the people I've done that with are doing amazing. The people that I just don't do it with are not doing amazing. So it's worth the time. Take the time to do this. I think it's worked the best for me to write their names, to do that, count out 4 days. And on the 4th day, I say 4 days out because usually they have their products by then. If not, they're almost coming by then. Hey, did you get your products yet? If they didn't get them, have you tracked them? Let me see. I'll track them for you. Just again, continuing your excitement. And then if they got them, you can do your taste check-in, number 1, that Nicole just shared. But anyways, that's what I do. And so then I remember to check in with them 4 times in the first month.
Yeah, for me, it like works better in my head to have a weekly check-in, just say like it's once a week, because then I know like, okay, if I don't get this done by Thursday, that's just like my day to like get my customer care check-ins done. If I
So
don't
you do them all the same day, you mean?
I try to, just because I don't know, my brain just works better that way instead of having to put a bunch of things on my phone. I mean, that's a good plan too. And sometimes I do set reminders, but like, I don't know. I like to just say like, by Thursday, I need to make sure I have my customer care check-ins done. You know what I mean? If I don't, I still have that extra day, like Friday, I can like finish up whatever I didn't get done for the week, if that makes sense.
Totally makes sense.
Everybody's
I'm just
different.
way less organized. Yeah. So
No,
I
that's
have
not,
to
I feel like I'm not organized, but like,
yeah, I know. To me, I'm better if I just do it and put their name on there and then check in
okay.
with so and so. And I don't know.
Yeah.
When I see a name, I'm like, Sally, boom. How you liking your products?
Yes. I actually think I need to do that more often. I just don't know if I could do the 4 days like that. Like my brain wants to say every 7 days, not 4 days.
It's just the first 4 days.
Oh, okay.
If they order today, count out 4. And then after that, it's 777. Does that make sense?
Got it. Yep. Okay.
So it's just once a week. But
That's good.
anyways, the key is, guys, to check in for at least 4 times during the first month.
Mm-hmm.
Because then if you don't, you're like, oh my gosh, I'm so embarrassed. Oh,
Yeah.
totally dropped the ball.
And
then
people
you
fall through the cracks and yeah. And then
yeah.
that's when they end up not ordering again, or they weren't taking their products. They're like, oh, I have too much stuff. I don't need to order. Well, it's because they weren't taking it because they weren't consistent, because maybe they didn't have the support, or maybe we just didn't know. All right, we have 1 minute left. If there's anything that anyone wants to ask or add
I
to
wanted
it.
to I wanted to add something real quick. So I had this happen to me recently. When you check in with people, if they don't reply, sometimes we create things in our head like, oh man, they must hate the products or something. Keep following up, even if you don't hear back. Try follow up in a different way. Send a text message, send an email, send a Facebook message. I had someone recently who it was a month, and I had been following up every week, heard nothing, and they had a death in their family and had to travel. And just keep in mind, like people are living their lives, and just keep following up because people when they can when they can come back around to it, they'll see, oh wow, this person was really trying to help me. So don't get discouraged if you don't hear anything back.
Definitely good advice. All right. Well,
Sounds
that
good.
sums it
Well,
up, I think, for our onboarding. So let us know if you have any
yes,
questions about this.
sounds good.
Bye.
Bye.